All right, fifth graders, we're continuing today this idea of find the quotient. Once again, the quotient is the answer to a division problem. So it's our continued focus here on division. So we have 114 and 4/10 divided by 8. Well, once again, it's going to be whole numbers going into decimal divisors. So our decimal is just going to go straight up. And then I'm going to divide using that same pattern we talked about in the past. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, start over again. And then I will, if we start over again, then we can divide, and then we would definitely need to put a number up at the top. So 114 and 4/10 divided by 8. Well, 8 cannot go into 1, but 8 can go into 11 one time. So that 1 needs to go over there. It's very important where you put the numbers up here. If I put a number here, I'm saying that 8 can go into 1 one time. No, I want to say that 8 can go into 11 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. 11 minus 8 is 3. And I'm going to go ahead and bring the 4 down. And after I subtracted, I got 3 because I like that, because that's less than 8. 8 can go into 34, I believe 4 times, because 4 times 8 is 32. 34 minus 32 is 2, and I like that because 2 is less than 8. I go ahead and I bring this 4 down, and I think to myself, well, how many times can 8 go into 24? Well, I believe that's 3 times, because 3 times 8 is 24. 24 minus 24 is 0. And for the most part, you're not going to get remainders, but sometimes you will, and we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes. So this first one, 77 and 1/10 divided by 3. Well, 3 can go into 7 2 times, so I need to put that 2 right there. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. I like that because 1 is less than 3. Then I go ahead and bring down the 7. 3 can go into 17 5 times. What I don't want to forget is to put my decimal straight up. I should have done that at the beginning. 3 can go into 17 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. 17 minus 15 is 2. I like that because 2 is less than 3. I go ahead and I bring the 1 down. 3 can go into 21 7 times. And I'm pretty confident that 7 times 3 is 21. And that 21 minus 21 is 0. All right, well, moving right along here with our other examples. We got 2 more. 129 and 57/100 divided by 7. Well, 7 cannot go into 1, but 7 can go into 12 one time. And 1 times 7 is 7. And 12 minus 7 is 5. And I like that because 5 is less than 7. So then I go ahead and I bring down the 9. And I think, well, how many times can 7 go into 59? Once again, before I started, I have forgotten this a couple times now. Always put that decimal straight up, because if you forget to put it in your answer, the answer is going to be wrong. That decimal, without the decimal, it is a completely different number. So now I go back to my problem here. How many times can 7 go into 59? Well, I think that 7 can go into 59 8 times. Now after I divide, and we didn't write that here on this one, but we'll remind ourselves, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, start over again. After I divide, I multiply. So it's 8 times 7. I believe that 8 times 7 is 56. Now after I multiply, I subtract. 59 minus 56. Well, 9 minus 6 is 3. 5 minus 5 is nothing. And I'm okay with this because 3 is less than 7. Remember, after I subtract, I always like to make sure that the answer needs to be less than the number I'm dividing by. So after I subtract, I bring down. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 5. I believe that 7 can go into 35 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. 35 minus 35 is 0, which I like because 0 is less than 7. But I can still bring down, and I have a 7 there to bring down. I believe that 7 can go into 7 one time. And that 1 times 7 is 7, and 7 minus 7 is 0. No numbers left to bring down. It looks like I get a final answer of 18 and 51/100ths. All right, this will be our final one, 13 and 8/10 divided by 5. Well, 5 cannot go into 1, but I think 5 can go into 13 2 times. As always, I want to put my decimal straight up. I don't want to forget that in my final answer. 5 can go into 13 2 times. Now it's time to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. Well, after I multiply, I subtract. So 13 minus 10 is 3. After I subtract, I bring down. All right, so I go ahead and I bring down the 8. 5 can go into 38 7 times. All right, 5 times 7, because after I divide, I multiply. 5 times 7 is 35. 38 minus 35 is 3. Now here's a situation we haven't encountered yet, that we actually end up with a remainder with nothing left to bring down. When you're doing decimal division, you're not going to end up with remainders. Okay, we don't have 2.7 or 2 7/10 remainder 3. That is not what you do. Do not do that. What we do is we add a 0, because when we add zeros onto decimal numbers, we don't change the value. But what it does do, it allows us then to add a 0, and it gives us another number to bring down. And there'll be times as we go on that sometimes you have to add 2, 3, maybe 4 zeros, depending on the number, until you don't end up with a remainder. Now here's a situation that worked out pretty good, because we know that 5 can go into 30 6 times. We know that 6 times 5 is 30, and we know that 30 minus 30 is 0. And so I end up with 2 76/100ths. All right, we'll talk to you later, 5th graders. Bye.